Chapter 1 A Wedding at the Whippet. There is no better place on earth for a wedding than the roof of the Whippet Hotel. At least that's what Leo Fillmore thought as he watched 6 yellow ducklings waddle down the grassy path toward him. They had rings of delicate white flowers from Mr. Phipps's garden tied around their necks. Now and then, the ducklings would turn clumsily with the idea of eating the flowers, but looming overhead, they saw Betty, their mother, staring down at them. Any ideas about eating flowers before they reached the pond quickly vanished. A mariachi band strummed 3 guitars in perfect unison as a robot the size of a coffee cup arrived at the top of the grass pathway. "Here comes Blop, Leo's best friend in the whole world," Remy said, straightening his tie nervously. "I hope he can stay quiet long enough to get down here." Remy had a round face and brown skin like his mother. "Stop worrying," Leo said, patting Remy on the back. "Blop knows better. He's got this." "I wouldn't be so sure," Remy said. And he might have been right to worry. Blop was a terrible chatterbox. Both Leo and Remy were anxious as Blop weaved back and forth toward them with bubbles rising out of his metal belly button. As the bubbles climbed into the air, they popped, freeing glitter that fell like sparkling snowflakes over the gathering of people. "Nifty trick." Remy smiled. "I was afraid he was going to burp the ABCs. Blop whirled all the way down to the edge of the pond and aimed his head like a cannon over the water. "Time for his big finale," said Remy. "I hope it doesn't backfire." A circle opened on Blop's round head, and there was the sound of swooshing air as small daisy petals shot up and showered down over the pond. "Amazing how many of those will fit inside such a small space," Remy observed, but mostly he was glad the whole thing had gone off without a hitch as Blop zigzagged back to where the boys stood. Leo smiled and gazed over the pond, where the ducklings were chasing one another around glowing lanterns floating on the water. When the petals started to land all around them, they were at once confused and elated. They were too young to realize that petals did not normally fall from the sky, so they simply did what ducks do. They gladly gobbled up whatever fell their way. Leo, too, looked up into the night sky, thinking how strange it was that at age 11 he owned this remarkable hotel. It was a lot of responsibility, but he'd done a fine job keeping it running during his first year on the job. All around him were tall buildings, full of light, encircling the Whippet Hotel like centurions. He searched for Merganser D. Whippet, the man who had built and formerly owned the hotel, wondering if he would appear. Meanwhile, Blop whirled to a stop next to Remy. "That was harder than it looked," said the robot, staring up at the 2 boys as the last of the bubbles drifted up and away. And then, "Not much of a view from way down here. Just a lot of shoes and—" "Shh," Remy scolded, picking up Blop and placing him gently into his jacket pocket. When Remy looked up again, Leo's dad was coming down the path. Clarence Fillmore might be the head maintenance man at the Whippet Hotel, but tonight he looked like a movie star at the Academy Awards. "Mr. Fillmore cleans up better than I expected," said Mr. Phipps, the gardener, leaning down and whispering to the boys. "He'll be back in his overalls by morning. You can bet on it," Leo joked, but he had to admit his dad did look like $1,000,000, clean-shaven, hair in perfect order, dapper in a tuxedo, and shiny black shoes.